So digital transformation is not future speak. In fact, it's alive and well today. And these next scenarios I like to think of as digital transformation in real life. I'm delighted to bring to the stage 4 partners and their customers to show you scenarios. In fact, not scenarios, real live solutions for employee empowerment, customer engagement, the optimization of operations, and the transformation of products. These are real stories, real customers, real partners just like you, bringing digital transformation to life today. And I want to share these stories with you, hopefully to inspire you to go back out into the field, continue doing the great work that you're doing today, and drive digital transformation ubiquitously with our customer base. That's what's behind this total addressable market opportunity for all of us. So I want to talk through our first scenario to tee it up for you. It's around employee empowerment, but in fact, it's much more than that. I mentioned earlier in my opening that digital transformation has to have an anchor in industry, because you can't drive real business outcomes unless you understand the customer's industry. This scenario happens to be in the field of health, and I can't think of a more noble example to share with you. So I want to set it up for you and give you some context. Sadly, in South Africa, more than 20% of the entire population is HIV positive. These 3 individuals have dedicated their lives to solving that problem. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Dr. John Sargent from Broadreach, Sally Govender, who's the South African Department of Health Director, and Dr. Ola Doyenbo, who is the USAID, which stands for United States Agency for International Development in South Africa. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Hey, Judson.
Hello.
Thanks so much.
Hi, Sally. Dr. Ola, how are you?
Fine.
Okay, so John, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about Broadreach.
Yeah, so thanks, Judson. Broadreach was founded in 2003 as a healthcare consultancy. Today, we're about 500 employees. Now, we're a social impact organization, which means our whole reason for being, our mission in life, is to improve access to healthcare for populations in need. And we do this by making organizations and their employees, like governments, private sector companies, NGOs, who all deliver healthcare and social services programs, we work with them to make them much more effective in their work. Now, you can imagine technology is absolutely critical to this, because if you're managing a really complex health system, you need to be able to have the right information at the right time to make the right decision, and then the right tools to execute against it. So we built a cloud-based data aggregation, analytics, and workflow management system called Vantage that we use to empower our clients.
Awesome. So Dr. Ola, how does USAID fit into the equation?
USAID and PEPFAR administers many programs. Today, we will tell you about USAID PEPFAR program initiative called 1990 to control and manage HIV epidemic in South Africa. We work closely with Sally, Broadreach, and the Department of Health in achieving our programmatic goal of 1990.
Awesome. And Sally, you spent decades working with the South African Department of Health. Why don't you tell us about this 90-90-90 program?
So the Ugu district where I work is actually ground zero of the HIV epidemic. Allow me then to tell you about the 90-90-90 strategy. So by 2020, we want 90% of all those people living with HIV in Ugu to know they're infected. Then we want 90% of those people to be on sustainable treatment. And finally, we want this treatment to be sustainable and successful in at least 90% of those that have commenced treatment. And if we get this right, then we will certainly beat HIV.
That's awesome. So Sally, why don't you talk a little bit about sort of the old way of work, if you will, prior to having this Vantage system?
So Judson, our old world entailed data wrangling in spreadsheets and trying to aggregate data across paper and lots of siloed databases and systems. So people would go out to clinics, initiate patients on treatment, or provide HIV counseling and testing. They would then come back and capture the data. And after a very manual process, we would get results possibly 4 to 6 weeks later. Now, naturally, by this time, the data was out of sync, it was no longer relevant, and our people were unable to make informed decisions based on data in terms of improving the HIV program as a whole. So As a result, then, in the Ugu district, we were nowhere near achieving the 90-90-90 targets. Actually, 2 years ago, we were more like 61, 65, 42.
So let me set context again. So when Sally says 61, 65, 42, that means that only 61% of the people that had HIV actually knew they had it. 65% of those people were receiving treatment, and only 42 of those individuals were actually getting better. So sadly, that was quite behind the goals. Dr. Ola, talk to us a little bit about how this Vantage solution actually helped change the game.
With the help of Broadreach, we implemented the Vantage system in Ugu district, one of the 27 focus districts in South Africa. In less than 6 months, we jumped all the way to 79, 76, 60 today.
So, yes, how about that? So I think clearly the audience recognizes that these aren't just metrics. Every time a percentage increases, more human lives are saved. It's just an amazing body.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, there is still more work for us to do to achieve our programmatic goal, but we are very encouraged with the current results. And let me show you how we are going to continue driving all these numbers up. John?
Great, thanks, Dr. Ola. So Judson, what we're looking at here is the instance for Ugu District in Vantage. Now, you can see here that we have all sorts of information. So Sally talked about this data wrangling and millions of pieces of data on paper and disparate databases. We now all bring it in one. So you can see Ugu is here in the KwaZulu-Natal province. But more importantly, we mine all this data and very plain, simple English can tell you at any point in time, where are we? So
that's amazing.
Currently for the first 90, we're at 79%. So we're on track for the 2020 goals. For the second 90, we're at 76%. Again, we're really good there, we're on track. Now, the third 90, we're at 60%. So just to remind the audience, this only means that 60% of the people getting treatment are actually getting effective treatment. So this is a bit of a problem.
Got it. So what factors are actually driving the lower percentage?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors, but one of the most common ones is that when people start taking the medicines, they feel a lot better, and then they stop. I mean, I'm a doctor, and I sometimes do that with antibiotics. You shouldn't. Please don't do this. But it is a factor. And in fact, if you scroll down, and there's all sorts of interesting information, the demographics, infrastructure, but let's actually dive into some health statistics. So if we look at that third 90, actually how many people are stopping their treatment? So Sally, do you want to take us through this particular card here?
This is a very important but alarming statistic. 20.2% of HIV patients have stopped treatment. And we can see here that the problem is in the Umdoni municipality.
Yeah, so in Umdoni, you can actually look down on this particular card here, and we, again, mine all the data, and we can actually tell you which clinics aren't performing. And in fact, Pennington Clinic is actually in Umdoni. So let's go ahead and click on that and get a profile. And when this comes up, you'll see, so you'll see in particular, it's this particular municipality. Here's some pictures of the clinic, but some of the analytics we run and the real-time insights can really help us understand what's happening and what's going on with the performance. So you can see at Pennington, they look like they're understaffed. It looks like their nurses are actually seeing 60 patients a day instead of 35 to 40, which is the benchmark.
So it's important to remember that in rural clinics of South Africa, a doctor only visits a clinic once or twice a week. So essentially, it's the professional nurse who is the clinical resource and provides the key clinical services in a clinic.
Right.
And we can even dive into deeper detail. So for those of us who really want to really get in the data, you can actually look at all these individual data elements, and you can graph them, heat map them, do all sorts of interesting things. So what you're looking at here is all the different clinics in Ugu, and that's roughly about 70. And we're looking at a particular indicator, which is, are they doing a test for patients to make sure their treatment is effective? So when patients come in for their checkups, they're supposed to get this blood test.
There's quite a bit of standard deviation in the performance. Some of them are actually overperforming against the 90%.
Absolutely, and a lot are underperforming. And in fact, you can see Pennington down here at roughly 46.2%. So, again, it's probably linked to the staffing issue. We still have work that we've got to do.
Got it. So, Dr. Ola, why don't you net this out for us? How many lives are now being saved as a result of the Vantage application?
In summary, what we are saying is that in the 5 districts where this approach is being followed, we have saved thousands of lives. With respect to the first 90, 99,000 more people know they have HIV. which will help slow down the spread of the infection. With respect to the second 90, 95,000 more people are in treatment that will prolong their life. And with respect to the third 90, 86,000 more people have the treatment working well today. So once we get those 20% of patients who have stopped treatment back into treatment, we will see that last number jump.
That's right. So listen, I think it's important to actually have a moment on this, because whilst I appreciate your desire to improve, you've already saved 86,000 lives, which is just simply fantastic, and you should be really proud of that.
Thank you.
So John, you've built this system on top of SQL Server and are hosting it in the cloud.
Yep.
You've put a rich interface for the web as well as phones and tablets.
Yep.
What's coming next?
Yep, so we're migrating to Azure. We're really excited because we think Azure gives us the security we need, the openness we need, and the accessibility in the geographies we're working in. In fact, Microsoft, you just made an announcement that the first Azure data center is going to open up in South Africa in 2018, the first of any major cloud provider. So it's going to help us a lot. The other thing to point out, a lot of this data is pretty confidential, so some of our customers want to keep it on premise. So the other thing we really like about Azure is the hybrid cloud solution. This really makes that possible.
Great. So listen, I'm proud that SQL Server and Azure have had a small amount of impact in empowering people who've sort of made it their lives work to help people with HIV. But what can you tell me is next coming for USAID and Broadreach?
Yeah, for USAID, we want to build a prognostic model. We plan to use machine learning to predict patients that have a high probability of being lost to follow-up or stop their treatment. We can share this list of patients to the clinic staff so that they can provide additional support, including psychosocial support to these patients so that they can continue to take their life-saving treatment. We are also in partnership with Broadreach, incorporating Office 365 and team, allowing the clinics better collaboration, and also to document best practices. Our nurses and staff members can ask questions and share their knowledge across the clinic, across the districts, and even across the entire country.
Yeah, and for us at Broadreach, very fortunately under the leadership of USAID again, we're actually taking this whole Vantage system and scaling it to a whole new level. So USAID is leading this innovation project called Regional Action Through Data, otherwise known as RAD. And what this means is we're going to implement Vantage across 23 countries in West and East Africa. It's a catchment population of over 500 million people. And we're going to move beyond HIV. So we're going to look at things like early disease detection for diseases like Ebola. We're going to start looking at access to basic services like clean water and sanitation. So we're really excited about the power of what this is going to be able to do for us. And I'd like to, I don't know if the Microsoft South Africa, Middle East Africa, and For Africa initiative is in the cloud. Yeah, there you guys are. I just want to give a shout out to say thank you. This wouldn't be possible without you, and we look forward to working in partnership with you on this.
All right, so John, show us a demo of what you're doing with RAD.
Yeah, so in fact, like USAID, we're actually piloting Office 365, and we're really excited about Teams. So the RAD project has staff on 3 different continents. We've got folks here in DC, we've got folks in Europe, and folks all over Africa. So we're excited about having one place where we can all keep our team conversations, keep track of exactly what's going on, all our team files in one place, instead of on everybody's individual laptops, which happens a lot. Our project wiki, so we have all the information we need, and then the project planner. So we're going to be piloting this in the next couple of months, and we're excited about what this can do for us.
Super well done. Listen, I can't tell you on behalf of all of Microsoft how proud and humble that I am to hear your story, and how thankful I am, not just for your willingness to share it, but really for the work that you do each and every day. And I want everybody to understand that there's a multiplying effect. Mm-hmm. When you save 86,000 lives, each one of those lives is tied to a family, a mother, a father, perhaps a brother, a sister. So the impact is actually significantly more.
That's correct, but actually in total, this entire program is saving 500,000 lives.
That's fantastic.
Right.
Thanks very much, John. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Dr. Owen. Thanks. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Customer engagement has taken on an entirely new meaning. No longer is it just about loyalty and retention. It's about a customer journey from anonymous interactions all the way through to advocacy. Earlier this year, Microsoft and Adobe announced a partnership where we would bring together the marketing assets that Adobe has with the power of the Microsoft Cloud with Azure as a platform and Dynamics 365 as an integrated suite of business applications. This creates opportunity not just for Microsoft and Adobe, but for our entire ecosystem. And to talk more about that, I'd like to invite Jay Detling, the Vice President of Global Partners from Adobe, to the stage. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you, Judson. How are you?
I'm well. So, Jay, why don't you start us off with the meaning of this partnership from Adobe's point of view?
Great. Let me start by saying my team and I are so excited to be here, so thank you. I'll start by saying, cutting-edge brands know their future depends on designing and delivering smart, memorable, and personalized experiences. We call this the Experience Business Wave. Adobe and Microsoft share a vision that's focused on connecting the dots between sales, marketing, and support teams, using content and data to help enterprises make smarter decisions. Adobe has made Microsoft Azure its preferred cloud platform for our Experience Cloud, Document Cloud, and Creative Cloud platforms. And the exciting thing about this, Judson, this makes Adobe the largest ISV partner on Azure.
That's awesome. So Jay, when I introduced you, I talked about the importance of this partnership for the entire ecosystem. To us, this is one great step forward with Adobe in bringing your intellectual property to our platform and integrating it with Dynamics 365. But it also creates opportunity for all of our partners to actually go deliver solutions around customer engagement. Tell us a little bit more about it from your perspective.
I couldn't agree more with you, Judson. Really, we knew we couldn't go at this alone. Our clients, our joint clients, are really itching to create new and differentiated experiences. By leveraging Microsoft's technology as the intelligent backbone for our Experience Cloud platforms, we're really creating more value for our partners to sell. And it's going to take this rich ecosystem in this room and outside of this room, this great big room, to really deliver that technology that the Experience Business Wave requires.
Awesome. So let's bring this to life. I'm excited that we have a customer and a partner that's actually taken the work we've done together and created an awesome solution, and I want to share it with everybody. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Alyssa Altman, the Senior Vice President and Regional Leader for Sapient Razorfish, and Savio Thatil, who is the Chief Information Officer of Sephora.
Great.
Hey, guys.
Welcome.
Hey.
Hi, Savio. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Alyssa, welcome.
Great.
So, Alyssa, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about Sapient Razorfish and the machine learning platform that you've built on top of Azure?
Sapient Razorfish is the hub for Publicis Group for marketing and business transformation. We, as you know, we're an alliance partner of Microsoft, and we won Adobe Partner of the Year for 5 of the past 6 years. We're real proud of our relationship and partnership with both organizations. And we're here today to talk about our Publicis Cosmos platform, which uses Cortana Intelligence Suite to integrate AI with Adobe Campaign.
Awesome. So we love the Cosmos name, but just so that everybody stays grounded, Publicis has a platform called the Cosmos platform, and Microsoft has the Azure Cosmos DB, which we'll actually be showcasing later.
Great.
So Sephora is one of the first customers that's actually using this Cosmos platform that you've created. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yep, that's right. So we did an initial POC with Sephora to demonstrate how we can use our platform with Adobe Campaign to really create those compelling campaigns that are for customers that are driven by data and insights.
Awesome. So Savio, before we get into the demos, which you know I love, why don't you tell us a little bit about Sephora and your vision for digital transformation at the company?
Sure. As Sephora, as you know, is the #1 prestige beauty retailer in the world right now. We're live in 31 countries, over 2,100 stores. And as a beauty retailer, for us, understanding our customers' wants, needs, motivations throughout her journey with us is super cool. And the Cosmos platform that she just referred to and the Adobe Campaign helps us deliver those insights.
Awesome.
Great. So our differentiator at Sapient Razorfish is really leveraging the scale of the cloud and artificial intelligence to create that single view of the customer.
Cool. So believe it or not, I actually shop at Sephora, and I made a little trip prior to coming here. I've got my own little Sephora travel kit for Jack Black shaving cream here. You can see it's TSA approved.
Awesome.
Brought it along. So since I'm a customer, what can you tell everybody about me with your system?
All right. First of all, we do believe you that you shop. So anyway, but we already knew that about Judson.
I got my receipt in here to prove it, just in case.
All right. That's cool.
All right, show me what you know here.
All right, so we're going to pull up your profile. We already knew all that about you. So if you want to click through, we can see all information about you. Right here, average transaction value is $54. Come on, Judson. You can do better than that.
You know, I got my shaving cream on. I mean, what? So sell me more,
Right.
Savio.
Clearly,
Sell
we
me
need
more.
to target you more. All right, so we're going to go scroll up. We're going to go look for the details about you. We're going to pull up your orders, right here.
Awesome.
I can see that you typically buy Jack Black a lot, every month.
Well, I got a need for shaving. You know, it happens. And then look, actually, you can see my transaction here just before I left for the show.
That's right.
Yep, absolutely. And so by understanding your transaction history, real-time contextual data, and communication preferences, we now have a holistic view of you, Judson.
So you got cool information about when I buy in store and when I buy online, but how can you really use this data to better target me as a customer?
All right, let's continue this. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to create a replenishment campaign for you. You're going to get out of this, right? We're going to go up here, click on Programs and Campaigns.
Okay.
And Loyalty Program.
Right on.
And so what you're seeing is a view of the replenishment workflow for all of our loyalty campaigns. And it's really a visual environment where marketers can design and orchestrate cross-channel journeys.
Really cool.
All right, so first, how about we create a simple segment, yeah?
Sounds good.
All right, so target audience, men between the age of 30 and 35. Sounds about right?
I think you're being kind, but let's just roll with that.
Right,
I like the way you think.
So now in the segment, we're going to select anyone who's purchased a product in the last 30 days.
Right on.
Clearly fall in.
Yep.
And the product should last about 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. So next, we're going to finalize this workflow. We're going to select the channel that we're going to execute this program under. Yeah?
Yep.
And then you look like the kind of guy who does everything on your phone.
Yeah, I try to when I can, but
Okay.
this was actually an in-store, so,
All right, so
I'd love to hear more about what you can do for mobile.
Awesome. So we're going to drag and drop this because we think we're going to target you on mobile. And that's pretty much it.
Pretty slick. Just drag and drop, and there you go, a campaign built.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, out of curiosity, this is a beautiful system, of course, but like, how were you doing this before?
This was hard. We didn't have anything like this. We were missing a tool that allowed my marketing team to do anything like this before.
Awesome. So what's next? How can you use the power of this to continue to engage your customers?
All right. OK, so before we execute, might be a good idea to preview.
So, yeah, probably a good idea.
All right, so we're going to scroll up, replenishment offer email, and I click on that. And right here on the left, you can see all the personalization rules that you can pick with it. And
Awesome.
then here you can edit it. And this one's for you, but obviously not everyone wants Jack Black. So you can personalize it to whatever the content
Right.
each person's replenishment cycle requires.
Maybe I'll spend more than $54 next time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right on. Good. So how might this work, Jay, in a mobile world?
Yeah, well, in addition to email and direct mail, Adobe Campaign supports push notifications. I saw that you brought your iPhone here. Do you have the Sephora app?
We do, in fact. Let's see if we can get it up for everybody on the screen. So
Looks
there's
like you
my
have,
Sephora app.
looks like you have a notification there.
I have my notification, which Savio sent me, so I can easily click on it. It actually
little
gives me a
video.
little sort of instructional video there.
Kinda looks like
in
you,
case I
too.
missed a spot.
Yeah.
It's helpful.
Then go ahead and click one more time.
There you go. And it takes me straight to the Sephora site and puts it in the basket.
Beautiful.
Pretty slick. That'll
Are you
save
gonna
me
hit
a
buy?
trip to the Bellevue Mall next time.
You're going to hit buy?
Yeah.
I'll take
yeah,
care of
right
that,
now.
Savio. I
Savio's
promise.
watching.
And as you'd expect, this message was high fidelity and it was personalized for you.
Awesome. Super cool. So I can buy my Jack Black shaving cream with a couple of taps. It's super convenient. And the interface is awesome. I mean, you guys have done a great job with the visuals from the customer engagement side. But show me the power of the back end. What are the analytics being produced on the back end?
So what's really cool is, as you can see, the solution will engage you through email, direct mail, SMS, and even push notifications. So if you're walking down F Street today and that your Jack Black is in stock or on sale, you might actually have an opportunity to get a push notification from Sephora.
Awesome.
And this is such a core scenario for us across all our products, not just Jack Black, perfume, everything, right? And this helps build our brand loyalty too.
Awesome. So why don't you show us some of the insights that you get on the back end?
All right, okay, we're going to continue playing. So we have it up here. We're going to show you something with Power BI.
Great.
Okay? So as you can see with this, we can pull all data about our client across all the systems that we have. This is, data analytics, our business data. Having that side by side, this was really hard for us. I mean, this is a first.
Yeah. So it's not only do you get sort of the breadth of your engagement, but also the depth of your customer engagement across all of your different customer types. So Alyssa, talk to us a little bit more about this Cosmos platform of yours. How is it using Azure Machine Learning?
Absolutely. So we're really creating a holistic view of Sephora's relationship with their customer, and we call that the Consumer 360. We're using components of the Cortana Intelligence Suite to integrate customer data from all the Adobe platforms and Sephora's first-party customer profile and product data.
Awesome. So I've been known to be a little bit of a data geek.
Yes.
Can you show me the model that you have?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Let's jump in here. Okay, so here's one of our models. It's using purchase history and profile info like skin and hair type and skin tone and time of year. It then generates scores for each model that allows us to decide who to target and when.
Awesome.
Those scores then feed directly into Adobe Campaign, where they are used to determine the timing and details for a targeted customer message with product recommendations.
And this is a true differentiator for us. These were things we couldn't do before. I mean, let alone automate this.
That's awesome.
And really, the ability to provide the right offer at the right time on the right device is really the power of the Adobe Experience Cloud. We provide APIs to our partner community through Adobe I/O. And this is what makes it easier for partners like Sapient Razorfish to integrate their solutions with the Adobe Experience Cloud and to really generate even more partner innovation.
So based on the scores and ratings generated by Publicis Cosmos, what we're really able to help Sephora do is not focus on when to target the customer, but the data and insights they're going to get from each marketing campaign and what they can do next.
That's awesome. So listen, I'd love to thank you guys for sharing this, because honestly, Savio, your vision for transforming customer engagement at Sephora is really inspiring. Jay, our partnership between Microsoft and Adobe is really off to a great start. And Alyssa, all of the work you've done at Sapient Razorfish really has brought this solution to life. So thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you.
Nicely
Thank
done.
you for having us.
Thanks, Savio.
Thank you, Judson.
So I hope you all took in the power of the partner ecosystem there. We have a great relationship with Adobe, but what really brought it to life was all of the great work that Alyssa and the Sapient Razorfish team did for Sephora, and that creates opportunity for all of you as an ecosystem. So for our next story, I want to talk about optimizing operations and how a customer from Australia has partnered together to not only drive clean energy solutions, but to do so while saving endangered species on an island off the coast of Australia. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Kashif Salim and Gavin Miller. Kashif is from a company called Trackum. He's the CEO and founder. And Gavin Miller is from a company called Urtec.
Judson, how are you?
Welcome.
Judson, how you going?
Gavin, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
So Gavin, let's start with you. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about Urtec and how your company is driving clean energy solutions while protecting endangered species?
Sure, Judson. Look, Urtec's a large civil construction contractor operating in the mining, oil and gas, government and utilities infrastructure sectors, as well as the land development sectors in Australia. Now, we're part of the Barrow Island Natural Gas Project in Western Australia, and we contract to Chevron. Now, this project's one of the world's largest natural gas projects on the go, and it's the largest single resource development ever in Australia's history. Now, Barrow Island's very remote. It's about 60 kilometres off the northwest coast of Australia, It's a specially protected habitat that supports hundreds of unique and critical species like the flatback sea turtle.
So specially protected species, governments, it sounds like a fair bit of regulations to manage.
Very much so. We adhere to globally recognised conservation best practices to minimise environmental impact. Now, the Australian government has strict quarantine measures to keep non-Indigenous plants and animals off the island, and Chevron has enhanced these rules with its own environmental controls.
So tell us a little bit more about the type of work you're doing on the island to protect these endangered species.
Yeah, look, one of the biggest things we do is manage inventory for thousands of pieces of equipment that are being used on this project, from trucks and plant and equipment right down to waste containers. Since the project's nearly done, we're actually removing all the temporary construction buildings and facilities and restoring those areas back to their natural state. This is involving actually demolishing 800 temporary buildings, and all the demolition waste must be transported off the island to be disposed of properly. We've got actually over 300 containers like this one on the slide that are used to transport waste back to the mainland, where they are cleaned and quarantined before being returned to the island. Now, we need to know exactly where all these containers are on the island and where they go on the mainland so we can minimise the amount of material going to landfill. Now, that's why I engage with Trackum.
So Kashif, name of the company, Trackum. My guess,
Yes,
just maybe that you guys track stuff.
That's right. Our platform is built entirely on Azure to track thousands of items for ERTEC in real time. And we work with customers all over Asia Pacific.
Awesome. So can you show us a system that you built to help ERTEC here?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Sure thing. So, look, here's our Trackum dashboard. So this is where I can get an overall view of all 7,000 pieces of equipment on the island. So that's from large earth-moving equipment, like excavators, rock breakers and loaders, to bulk items like small hand tools and even down to nuts and bolts. With the chart on the left, I can see how many assets are at each facility and who is currently owning them. We can also track them when they go to the mainland, ensuring that we're not using landfill when we don't need to.
So it's clearly a beautiful system, and then you can see all of your assets, how your assets are doing by location. How were you doing this before this system?
Yeah, look, manually, really, or in siloed systems. I mean, there was different systems for each type of tracker with a GPS, barcode, and RFID. Some were recorded in our plant system, some in the ERP asset system, and many in spreadsheets. So the problem was synchronising the information across these separate tracking systems. Trackum helped us solve this.
That's right, Judson. What we did is we identified the problem with the siloed tracking system and bring them all together into one Azure environment. Then we use Power BI so that ERTEC can visualize and manage the equipment. And then we also use Cosmos DB to store thousands of documents related to these pieces of equipment.
Awesome.
Judson, if you look on the chart on the left, one of the sites is red, which indicates that it doesn't have enough waste containers for the cleanup. So when we click on that, you can see the donut chart on the right says there's only one available. The rest are all busy. So we actually need to get a waste container there pronto.
So look, I get that red is bad, but so why is it so important to track all of these waste bins?
Yeah, look, it's a regulatory requirement. If we misplace any waste, we may shut down the entire natural gas plant, and this can cost millions of dollars a day.
Got it.
Ultimately, our product can help save ERTEC operational costs and avoid bottlenecks that can stop Chevron's operations.
So quick, let's find an available waste container to transfer. So we'll click on the assets list to the top to find one. Now this will take us to a list of all our assets. Right now it's actually pulling up all the tracking information and inspection details of the 7,000 pieces of equipment we have.
Awesome.
Now we'll type in the type of container we're looking for in the search, which is bin. So BIN we type. So that goes to the subset of information and brings up all of our waste containers. Now it looks like this 001 XO4 container is available at one of our inventory storage sites. So let's click on it and click on the edit button. And that'll come up, and looking at this container, I can see exactly where it is on the map, and it doesn't look too far from the site that needs it. So let's initiate the transfer.
Right on.
Now, Judson, I'm going to hire you as an employee for a few minutes because I need your help transferring the container.
Right on. So I've been looking for a new line of work, so I promise I won't let you down here.
Okay, now if you can perhaps put on this construction helmet
Got
for
it.
your new job.
So it comes with an outfit. That's great. That's great.
Now you're the plant manager on inventory site, which
How do I
means you look the part.
All right, great.
Job
Awesome.
opportunity for you.
It's important.
Now you're the plant manager. Now this means you're in charge of all the equipment that comes in and out of your site. and you have the extra container available. So we're going to use this container on stage for this. So if we can take the phone there, and you can scan it out for transfer.
Great.
Okay, so we've got the tracker map open already. So if you can tap on assets at the top left,
Yep, that's fine. You can click on.
you'll see a barcode icon on the top right. Tap that, and it'll bring up your phone's camera.
Took a
So we
picture.
can scan. Okay, that'll scan and beep.
This guy here.
Right, and since the barcode's already registered in Trackham, it's recognised it as the available container. So now tap on the asset.
All right, asset
There,
And then you can click on location.
and location.
there, and let's transfer it to the BW plant
Wow.
and change the status to in transit.
Okay.
So then tap on the check mark at the top right, and that'll save the changes to our tracking system.
All right. Fantastic. So about this in-transit part, how does that happen?
Well, welcome to the team, Judson. Please take the garbage can off the stage
I
for us
see.
so it can be
Great,
transferred.
great. Good. So this is really talking trash, I guess. This is good. Here we go. Always wanted to be czar of janitorial services. Thanks for helping out.
Now, Judson, look, we must do this for every single piece of equipment, both on the island and the mainland side of the project, using one secure device that can scan any type of tracker and upload to one single system. This actually gives us the ability to know and react like never before.
So Kashif, you built a fantastic system using IoT capabilities, Azure and Power BI, and it's even connected to secure devices.
Absolutely. So Judson, because we are using this on oil and gas plant, we need to make sure that we're using intrinsically safe devices, which runs app on multiple platforms, and then we connect to Azure platform at the back end. We also use SSL encryption for data protection.
Awesome.
Now, we're also implementing SPE E3 into our operations as well, so this ensures we've got the safest and most secure environment for our productivity tasks.
Awesome. So we appreciate the investment in Microsoft 365. So look, this is great. What can you guys tell me is next for Trackham and Urtech?
Judson, remember, big equipment and machinery is transported to the island in parts. Then they are cleaned and shrink-wrapped as part of the quarantine measures to prevent non-indigenous species from being introduced.
So let me get this straight. Everything you take to the island,
Yes.
you first take apart,
Yep.
shrink wrap it,
Yes.
take it to the island,
Yes.
and then put it back together again.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So, yeah, we just want to make sure that we don't introduce non-indigenous.
Great.
Yeah.
Right on.
Cool. So so what we actually did is we enabled Autodesk 3D modeling software and built a Trackham plugin which connects to Azure backend data.
Awesome.
Which helps Urtech to track the items. So Urtech can actually see in 3D model of the equipment what it's supposed to look like once it's built. Let me show you. So here is a standard 3D model of a gas tank system.
Very
you can
cool.
see how it looks like. But remember, Judson, everything comes wrapped in white shrink wrap.
Right.
So you don't always know what the parts are by just looking at a palette of equipment.
Got it.
Okay, so what we did is we built a Trackham plugin. Over here, you can see that. So let me just go up here and click on Show Status. So I'll click on Show Status, and it will change the color of the items in the 3D model.
Right on.
And you'll see that colors have changed to indicate their status. Pieces in green are delivered, yellow is in transit, and red is not delivered yet.
Awesome. So if we had the waste bin that I just transported, it would be yellow because it's
Yep.
in transit.
Absolutely.
So it looks like these red pieces here are pretty important.
Yeah.
So what do you do in this circumstance?
So we can't start the construction on this tank. So, yeah.
So I would imagine as a site manager, Gavin, it's pretty critical to have visibility to where all of these pieces are at all times.
Oh, absolutely. Look, with a white shrink wrap, you might not know what you're missing until it's too late, and that can set you back weeks.
Got it.
Judson, another new technology we are trying to deliver is tracking inventory using drones. Do you want to have a look?
Like here and now, a drone.
Absolutely.
Right here.
You want to have a look at drone?
I think it might actually be a partner conference first to have a drone in a keynote.
Yeah.
Okay, Judson, now we're going to put you to work again. Another new
Okay.
job opportunity.
Good, good.
If you
I'll
can
put my
take
head
this
back on.
box with the RFID tag on top and
Right.
put it out right in the middle of the stage there.
Well, I haven't done honest work like this in a long time. My staff's not supposed to laugh when I say that, but okay, it's in place. Here we go. We got drones flying.
Yep.
Judson, we fit them with long-range
bit
scanners then fly them over an entire inventory warehouse to scan hundreds of assets at once. So it will hover and read this piece of equipment.
Awesome.
Cool.
That is super cool.
Yes.
Right on.
And here are the results of the scan. It found 2 tags, not 1.
Okay.
So obviously, the drone scanned the box, but there was 1 more tag, which was in my pocket. It actually scanned the tag which was in my pocket, so it clearly doesn't require the line of sight.
Right on.
So it's really, really important to use this technology.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about it? So what's nice about that is you cover a lot of ground on the island and can scan a lot of equipment, but also it helps with protecting the endangered species. Because you don't necessarily have to get close to a sea turtle that might be near some of the equipment. You can just kind of fly around it and pick up the tracking. It's fantastic.
And as I mentioned, Judson, it doesn't require line of sight, and it can be used offline so that we can upload this information into Azure.
Awesome. Well, listen, guys, I can't thank you enough for sharing. You've done a fantastic job of not only helping to drive clean energy, but also doing it in a way that protects the environment. So thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you,
Thanks, Gavin.
Thanks, Judson.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So our final segment is about product transformation. And for me, this is one of the most exciting elements of digital transformation because it actually is changing the world in which we live. The opportunity to innovate and create new things has never been greater than it is today. And it creates this fantastic opportunity for all of us. In many ways, there's never been a better time to be a Microsoft partner. Customers are becoming digital partners, and this creates such fantastic opportunity for us because we can take our partners' IP to the cloud. The data about the product itself actually becomes more valuable than the product. You can create just about anything as a service today in this world of product transformation. So I'm very excited to share this next example to you because from aerospace to agriculture, from the world of autonomous cars to clean energy, product transformation is leading us to this new world of this $4.5 trillion total addressable market. So our next example shares not only product transformation, but a full digital journey from employee empowerment to customer engagement, the optimization of operations, through to actually the transformation of their entire company. So please join me in welcoming to the stage the partner, Peter Linke, who's the CEO of ProMX, and Stefan Truthon, the CEO of a company called HHP Berlin. Peter, welcome.
Judson, nice to meet you.
Stefan, nice to have you here.
Hi.
So, Stefan, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your company, HHP Berlin?
We are an engineering company that has traditionally provided engineering services to builders when they create new commercial structures like skyscrapers and stadiums. We help them design emergency services to go into these buildings. Everything from the fire and smoke simulation to the pre-fire plans and the whole safety concept from evacuation planning to the fire safety training. We also help builders get through the permitting process, help oversee the construction, and often provided long-term services. We've done over 10,000 projects in the last 25 years, and we have never lost anyone in a fire in our projects.
So first of all, that's a ton of projects, and second of all, it's pretty awesome that you've had that kind of a safety record. So basically, you're an engineering company that's focused on fire safety.
Yes.
Great. And so, Peter, talk to us a little bit about ProMX and the kind of partner that you are for Microsoft.
ProMix is a Microsoft partner with 16 years of experiences. Our strong expertise in project management solution helped us to become a trusted advisor in this area worldwide. We developed some of the first add-ons for Dynamics project service automation, which are now available on Microsoft App Source.
And so Peter's actually being a little bit humble right now. ProMX has been awarded many, many Microsoft awards, from CRM Solution of the Year to Best Partner in Germany of the Year as well. So congratulations on your great work.
Thank you.
So let's unpack this story a little bit, because I'm really excited about it. Stefan, tell us a little bit about sort of the existing state of HHP Berlin before the transformation. What was it like?
As a traditional engineering firm, customers would ask us to work for designing a building. Designing the emergency and fire-related aspects of this building is a very complicated workflow. For example, this project might up to 36 months, and we might create 10,000 documents like blueprints, equipment diagrams, and procedural checklists. There are thousands of meetings with hundreds of action items that all must be tracked. We would then bring finished plans to VERS, permitting meetings and activities with cities, and to get approval to this build.
So it sounds like while you had a really solid, mature business, there were a lot of manual processes, paper-based processes, bookkeeping documents, engineering materials that you had to keep track of. A lot of burden and overhead for your employee base.
Yeah. For many years, our system worked well, but I always had a vision of how we could work it differentially. So I really wanted to tame this complicated workflow.
And that's where ProMix came in. HHP Berlin came to us with an amazing vision of a whole slate of new engineering-related products they wanted to create. But they had a problem. They needed a CRM and a workflow management system to glue it all together.
With ProMix, we created what we call the One System. In front of you is the Dynamics 365 system that helps us to run our workflows.
Now imagine, Judson, that you are the builder that wants to build a structure. You have called HHP up, and they won the RFP. And now it's time to build your building.
I'm ready. So Stefan, let's build a building together here.
Okay. So here's our whole CRM dashboard we have for you and for our engineers and the builders on my Surface Pro. So we see a whole 360-degree view of our building. And down, we have here our quotes, and here's the quote of the office tower in Essen. So I can simply dive into Dynamics 365 and kick off the workflow process. The system gives us a detailed view of all of our details, our structured data that we need. And here, and I'm a propose, I combine my proposal with the actual location. In this case, we take it the office tower, and then it takes one click, and the system combines all the information together. That's Dynamics 365.
Nice.
So we've also tied this to SharePoint document repository and the service center. And when I click here directly on this SharePoint link, SharePoint opens up and gives us all our unstructured data directly from Dynamics 365. This allows us to digitize and manage the many paper documents and the project procedures.
This is a key way in which HHP Berlin's core product is transformed. Traditionally, they would fill file cabinets full of documents during the life cycle of such a building. No one would ever look at these because they are hard to access and sometimes also outdated. Now they have the digital archives that exist for as long as buildings exist. And it's all tied together here in Dynamics 365.
You've done a beautiful job of entirely automating the workflow and creating a central repository for all of these assets and using Dynamics 365 here. It's just a beautiful implementation.
Yes, they can collect data on this building for the next 100 years, track changes and decision behind those changes. They built buildings for the last hundreds of years in Europe, and this completely changed the engineering process for the better. The end result is a richer proposal and a set of supporting documents.
Awesome. So you tackled optimizing your operation first by using Dynamics 365 to completely automate your workflows. And it's amazing what you've been able to get done here. My guess is this has dramatically reduced your proposal time and increased the ability your people have to actually spend time with their customers.
Exactly. We can work through the project faster with fewer mistakes, and rework is faster, as I'll show in a minute. This is fourth industrial revolution engineering. Let's switch to Surface Hub. I show you the project a couple of months.
Awesome. So this would be like what a customer experiences when working with you.
Yes. So I switch to the dashboard. We created here a dashboard called the One Dashboard. And we bring all our solutions and services on one platform together. It's built entirely on Azure. Awesome. It's connected over Dynamics 365. And we find here all our application named structures. And structures give us the opportunity to have an overview about the safety in the communities, right? The sustainable safety in communities. So we can handle all our information. I click on the object list, and what I find is a list of all my projects I worked from the beginning of the project over the lifetime. Here's amazing. My office tower.
Great, so this is the building we were building.
And we have all the information that we are collecting over the lifetime. And we can give advice with our knowledge to owners and other companies and partners.
That's brilliant. So your customers can engage with you just like
Yes.
this and work with you in an interactive session.
From the beginning of the project. So can I switch to the 3D view, and you see different parts of the building, and now I can interact, switch to the staircase, and click on wire, and so now I can here on the Surface Hub interact with you and show you some details of the project.
Fantastic. So we're seeing this on a beautiful Surface Hub, but you could also do it on really any Windows 10 device and have this fantastic 3D interaction and experience with your customers.
It runs on every device, and it runs globally because it's entirely built on Azure. So let's switch some months forward, and I had another application named Fire Chief.
Okay.
And Fire Chief gives us a good overview. So I switch it here, and we have a good overview about a building.
Awesome.
I switch to the 3D view.
So this would be as the building was constructed. Now, from a fire chief point of view, you can look at the fire suppression assets around the area where the building was created.
And I can use it on a different way, like sensors. So maybe we find that hydrant has an inadequate workflow. The sensor tells us we should change that. And the owner decided he changed the 500 gallons to 1,000 gallons. And he clicks here, the 1,000 gallons, clicks on OK. And automatically, behind the scenes, all the data running directly to our Dynamics 365 over Azure and gives us the idea.
That's just brilliant.
Now let's walk together. Let's check what's now in Dynamics 365 going on.
Great. So you've changed the change order on the Surface Hub in an interactive capacity with your customer. Now you come back to your Dynamics 365 system.
And now, when I reload it or refresh the site, I receive here, I hope, my automatic created proposal directly from, here is it. Hey, I open it, and the system creates automatically a PDF. They store it in SharePoint. When I open it, I receive a proposal they can send directly to my customer and help him to talk about the risk when I change the hydrant or when I change something. So it's a sustainable safety.
That's fantastic.
And we like to say at ProMix, there's no money without Dynamics.
I like to tell my sales force the same thing.
Our product at HSC Berlin is engineering work, and it's more coordinated, more accurate from a price perspective, and ultimately it's much more detailed and accessible to the builder in the city because of its work.
I'm just blown away by what you've built here. It's fantastic. The 3D experience, the modern workplace environment, the way you've done the job on productivity here, and improving how your employees interact with the data. It truly allows them to spend far more time with their customers, and it's transforming your business. But Stefan, I can tell you're an innovative guy. So tell me what's next on the horizon for you.
Yeah, that's one of the most exciting parts, but we are expanding our customer base to the service we can provide. I'd love to introduce someone who can talk more about the benefits of using our one platform.
So one of your customers here?
Yes.
Awesome.
Please meet Susanne Glatt.
Fantastic. Hi, Susanna, how are you?
Hi, nice to be here.
Welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
Susanne is the head of the German Women's Firefighter Association, which aims to attract more women to this important field. She's also division chief for the city of Essen, German Fire Department. She has been decorated with the German Fire Service Medal in silver for her outstanding contribution to the fire service.
Oh, Susanna, super impressive.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself and the team that you run.
Okay, as a division chief, I have more than 20 years experience in the fire service, and I have about 200 firefighters reporting to me on my shift, and we all do all the typical firefighting functions like fire suppression and everything. So why don't you join my team, Judson?
Okay, so I get to be a firefighter.
For you, yes.
I'll get more costume, huh? Great. Okay, this one looks a little bit
Make
more
it a little
involved.
bit more interactive.
Okay, all right. Okay, wow, lots of stuff here.
Yep.
Give me the hand.
This coat's a little warmer than the one I had on. All right.
Okay.
Okay, got it. Fire coat and a helmet. All right, got it. Even a little mask here, huh?
So we add some more weight to your shoulders.
All right. Okay.
Now you're ready.
All right. Ready for what I don't know, but ready, yes. Okay, good.
So that's Firefighter Judson.
Okay, great.
HHP Berlin has completed 29 different projects in Essen, and the Essen Fire Department has access to both the traditional paper data, but also to our platform. Traditionally, fire departments like Susan's do not pay for producing data such as pre-fire plans or escape plans. They are paid by the builder and property owner to HHP Berlin. But fire departments now pay for smarter access. Essen has access and a one structures account. This is a net new business area for us at HHP Berlin.
Awesome.
So I show you a fire framework. It's built in the one platform, and it's a fire simulation system that allows us to simulate a fire starting in our Essen building and model potential fire behaviors. After running a simulation in Azure, the tool outputs are a fire behavioral model. We are able to view this model online and share it with you.
Wow.
So as you can imagine, this could be incredibly useful for training. We could like virtually set fires in different parts of the building, like probably in the elevator room on top of the building, or another fire in a different part, like in the parking garage, for example.
Right on.
And as firefighters, you have to train a lot.
Yes.
Different types of scenarios in your future career, and fighting fires in commercial structures can be quite a challenge. And it differs based on the type and the age of the building.
Right. It's amazing how you're simulating all of this. I can see how it's super helpful for training.
Yeah.
So how else are you using the technology to help with first responders?
Next up is our foray in artificial intelligence. With the FireBot, fire reporting, that bot uses Microsoft Cognitive Services and Vision AI, and this allows us an online emergency reporting.
So first it will ask you to enter the event. What should we try?
Well, I'm feeling pretty bold in my gear here, so why don't we try to save a cat in a tree? What do you think?
Awesome. Okay, let's upload this image.
Might need the mask.
Behind the scenes, the AI is using Vision API to look at the photo, the Lewis framework, and the Emotion API, and the Analytics API to determine the type of the event we are reporting.
All right,
So-
Stefan, I got to stop you there. You actually have a bot for firefighting, a fire bot.
Yes,
Right.
they have.
That's impressive.
Now they will ask you who's reporting the event. Let's type Judson. And FireBot finds a location based on the picture you just sent and ask you if it's correct.
That's good.
Yes.
Type yes.
Awesome.
Okay, so done. It's understood the image is a cat in a tree and the location because of the picture and will send you and your engine to rescue this cat.
Awesome. This is fantastic. I love it.
So unless we are fire chief.
All right, so Fire Chief was Stefan, was the same tool that we saw over on the Surface Hub when you were designing sort of increasing capacity in the fire hydrant to support the building.
It's a Windows Universal Platform app and runs on a smaller device and a large Surface Hub.
All those assets are managed and stored in a structured database and managed through Dynamics 365, but the augmented reality app is something which we can amazing things.
So
And do
you're getting
amazing
heavy.
Well, you know, Susanna, I wasn't going to mention it, but it is getting a little warm and a little heavy here.
And that's my job. So imagine if we are dispatched to a fire in our office building in the Essen Tower. When the car comes in as a chief, I would grab a huge stack of files like this one, and then we will race over with lights and sirens over to the fire.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah, and traditionally, when you arrive,
Then Judson, an average firefighter like you would have had to call Susan over the radio to get direction and information about a building.
but now when we are arriving on scene, you would just grab your phone and put the fire chief app on your phone, and it automatically knows where you are in relation of the building and all those assets, and you can see that on your phone.
That's awesome.
So next, let's say you see a hydrant 100 meters away, and I just told you to hook up a water line with a hose, like
Okay.
this one. Add some more weight.
Okay, now I got a hose. All right. Good.
It's about so probably 20 kilos. So but what if the hydrant doesn't work? You just waste a lot of energy.
Yep.
Get really warm, and a lot of time. You wasted 2 or 3 minutes in a time when seconds count to save probably a life,
Yeah, indeed.
not only a cat.
Right. So, look, this is...
Yeah, so with Fire Chief, you just point your phone, and because of the AI and the fact that we have all the data storage available on our data store, you can see if the hydrant even works.
Awesome. So you would basically
So
sign up,
there's the hydrant.
take a picture of the hydrant.
Yeah,
And it would-
it's like with the Pokemons, but instead of a Pokemon, you see a hydrant.
Got it. And this would tell me whether or not the hydrant was functional, so I wouldn't have to
Yeah,
like
you know
haul
if
this
it
all the way
works,
over
how
there.
the workflow is and everything, all they put in the Dynamics 365 system.
Yeah. So look, this is fun and everything, but I think I'm going to put that down. So look, in all seriousness, an incredible use of artificial intelligence and augmented reality. And I really can see how it can save lives. If you can actually get to solving the problem and putting out the fire faster, it's super impressive. So what's next on the horizon?
We are looking at taking this whole system as one unit and selling it to cities as a package, a product, so they can integrate it in both in their planning and in their permitting process. We can then seamless pass the data and features off to local emergency services as a platform.
That's awesome. So listen, you have truly transformed your entire company, Stefan. You have gone from a paper-based construction engineering company to an entirely digital business. You've optimized your operations. You've changed how you empower your employees. Your customer engagement is world-class in 3D using modern devices. And you're serving new customers in ways in which they've never been served before. It's fantastic transformation. I don't imagine it all happened overnight, though. So tell us a little bit about the journey.
For us, this journey starts over 10 years ago as the power of the cloud started coming to the scene. It was the acceleration with Dynamics in Azure.
So listen, Peter, I also have to thank you for your work here because ProMax has clearly been forward-looking. All of the stuff that you have done, all of these projects, they've capitalized on these 4 solution areas we've talked about. You built a technical business plan, and then you built the digital outcomes, and have truly partnered with Stefan and HHP Berlin. The transformation is remarkable, and the impact that you're having with Susanna and the fire departments, just awesome. So thank you very much for sharing your story. Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Stefan.
Thank you, Judson.
Okay, so while I lighten the load a little bit here, again, I hope you all appreciate the fact that what you just saw over these 4 stories was digital transformation in real life. Not demos, not screenshots, but actual customer solutions brought to life by the partner ecosystem, by all of you and your peers. The stories are super powerful because they truly bring to life this notion of a 2-sided business plan. 4 solution areas: modern workplace, business applications, apps and infrastructure, data and AI. We're all alive and well in the scenario you just saw with HHP Berlin and ProMax and Susanna's fire department. They composed into these digital outcomes. Employees were empowered. Operations were optimized. Customer engagement was at all new levels, and companies were truly transformed. One thing that's really clear, though, is that the process by which this was done is completely different. One thing that did not happen was a bunch of product-specific pitches, siloed solutions being presented. The true outcome, the value to the customer, was what drove the journey. And this is how we all have to sell together. We have to lead with this 2-sided business plan. It'll help us reach our potential as an ecosystem, and it's what's best for our customers. Which brings me to my final story. You have to remember that whilst it's awesome to be able to talk about how these 4 solution areas compose into digital transformation and take us on this path of realizing more economic opportunity as an ecosystem than ever before, but why we're all here, the importance of why we're all here, is the mission. Our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more in the way that matters most to them. It's a higher calling for all of us, and we share that with you, our partners, because it's meaningful. It's what gets us out of bed every day. In short, it's about making a difference. And this final story, the surprise I have to share with you, is truly just that. I want to show you a video to tee up the story, and then I'm going to invite on stage some very special guests. Please roll the video.
Ես 20 տարի երեխա չեմ ունեցել։ Ես պայքարեցի եւ հասա իմ արդյունքին։ Ունեցա զույգ բալիկներ, Լիաննայից եւ Գևորիս։
Լիաննա շատ խելոք։ Լիաննաս միշտ նոր արկածներ է փնտրում, իր գլխին սարքում եւ շատ նպատակասլաց երեխա է։
Դե իմ երեխաները ծնվեցին 7-րդ ամսում, դա կոչվում էր անհասիկներ, ու ծնվելուց երկրորդ օրը այդ հիվանդության անունն էր ռետինոպլատիա։ 2-3 օրական էր, առաջի վիրահատությունը, որ արեցին։
The children of Armenia were experiencing a very aggressive form of childhood blindness, which in this country is almost 100% treatable. We were able to partner with SADA Systems to help us implement a cutting-edge solution using Polycom devices and Microsoft Skype for Business to stream a high-fidelity image out of the OR into our office here so that we could actually observe and guide surgeons who are halfway around the world. And not only was it a point-to-point conversation, it was a multicast so that we can have multiple experts forming a small community around this trainee to provide a better future for that child on that operating table.
Լիաննայից միջամտեցին վիրահատություն։
Իրանց ընդունելուց այնքան շատ բարձր մակարդակ է, որ այսօր մենք հարգում ենք այն մարդուն, ոնց որ մեր ընտանիքի հարազատ մարդ։
Դե բոլոր ծնողներն էլ հույսեր կապում են իրանց երեխաների հետ։ Ես կուզեի, որ Լիաննաս իր աչքերով տեսներ մեր երկրի գեղեցկությունը եւ տեսարժան վայրերը։
Please welcome Tony Safoyan, the Chief Executive Officer of SADA Systems, and Dr. Thomas Lee, who's the Director of the Vision Center at the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles and an Associate Professor at the University of Southern California's Roski Eye Institute. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Lee, I'm humbled to be in your presence, and I'd ask if you'd share with us a little bit more about your work.
Well, thank you, Judson. I'm based at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, which is consistently ranked in the top 10 children's hospitals in the country. We have over 350 inpatient beds and perform over 300,000 outpatient exams each year. One area of focus for us are premature infants. Judson, approximately 10% of all preemies will go on to develop a devastating form of childhood blindness called retinopathy of prematurity. In this country, preemies are screened on a regular basis with severe forms of ROP requiring surgery within 48 hours. Without that operation, the baby will go blind.
Wow.
In partnership with the Armenian Eye Care Project, we found that the doctors in Armenia didn't know how to manage this because of a lack of training. And as a result, their babies were going blind unnecessarily. We engaged with SADA Systems to integrate a solution that would allow us to train their surgeons in a scalable fashion without requiring me to fly back and forth all the time, and ideally engage additional experts around the world to create a crowdsourced virtual surgical training platform to prevent childhood blindness on a global scale.
That's awesome. So, Tony, talk to us about how SADA has helped Dr. Lee in all of his work at the Roski Institute.
Thanks, Justin. So at SADA, we're insistent on making a real impact in the world by the work that we do. We support many charitable organizations, but Children's Hospital Los Angeles and the Armenian AI Project are certainly top of the list. When we learned about Dr. Lee's mission, our team of experts concluded that using Skype for Business and OneDrive, CHLA could not only achieve the HIPAA compliance requirements that they need, but also the multi-doctor engagement platform that is really required. With that, Dr. Lee and his team of doctors around the globe could, in real time, observe, train, and nurture the eye surgeons in Armenia to be able to cure blindness in children at a scale and efficiency never before possible. We intend to add real-time translation capabilities and as well as additional infrastructure to allow Dr. Lee to expand his work globally.
That's amazing. So, Dr. Lee, even though you saved Liana's sight, you never actually had an opportunity to meet her in person.
Correct.
And I'm delighted to share with you that Liana and her family have traveled from their home in Armenia to right here in Washington, D.C. to meet you for the first time.
Oh.
Please welcome Liana and her family. everybody. Nice. Together, we will make a difference, and together, we will change the world. Thank you so much for everything you do. We're proud and humbled to be your partner. Thanks.